Google and Microsoft are the two biggest tech giants in the world today. Google gets majority of revenue through its advertising segment, while Microsoft has diverse sources of revenue. However, their rivalry and fight for dominance makes them the most fierce rivals in the 21st century. They both started in unrelated spaces, however, from early 2000s, they both started getting into the other's domain and the rivalry started. Sometimes they were able to defend the attack from others, but many times the attacker emerged as the winner. It was not just a fair fight, they both used strategy as well as tactics to pull the other down. They even filed lawsuits against each other and tried every weapon available to injure and defeat the other. At present they are fighting for dominance in artificial intelligence and leaving no stone unturned to defeat the other and become the undisputed leader. Both have had a stellar growth over the last 2 decades in terms of revenue and also valuation. Microsoft is the world's largest company with $3.2 trillion in valuation. While Google is 1.6 times lesser in valuation at $2 trillion, but this is the game of cat and mouse. With just 1 or 2 correct moves, Google may dwarf Microsoft in valuation like it did in 2017. This is story of the most fierce business rivalry of the 21st century, how it started, how ugly it became and who is currently leading. Microsoft was founded in 1975 by Bill Gates. In 1980s Microsoft got into partnership with IBM to bundle Microsoft's operating system with IBM computers. By 1998, Windows was installed on 90% of personal computers worldwide and Microsoft became the undisputed leader of the tech industry. Microsoft's revenues skyrocketed after this launch and it more than tripled from $6 billion to $23 billion. Google was founded by Larry Page and Sergey Brin in 1998 as a search engine startup, quickly revolutionizing the way users found information online. Google's introduction of AdWords in 2000 revolutionized online advertising. This innovation helped Google grow into a tech giant and positioned it as a key player in digital advertising, threatening Microsoft's influence in the tech space. By 2006, Google captured 55% of the US online advertising market, compared to Microsoft's 7%. Microsoft was no more an undisputed leader of the tech industry. Google had started challenging dominance of Microsoft in the 2000s. While they both were into very different space compared to the other, however, they both started getting into each other's space and started challenging each other for dominance. Microsoft's control over productivity software remained virtually unchallenged throughout the 1990s and early 2000s with Microsoft Office, which included Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. However, Google disrupted this space by introducing Google Docs and Google Drive in the mid-2000s. Google Docs quickly became a competitive alternative with 100 million active users by 2014. Microsoft's Internet Explorer was the leading web browser throughout the early 2000s, holding 90% share of the global browser market. However, Google Chrome, launched in 2008, disrupted this dominance with its faster performance, cleaner interface, and better compatibility with emerging web technologies. As of 2023, Chrome commands nearly 65% of the global browser market, while Microsoft Edge, Internet Explorer's successor, holds only around 5%. One of the most defining battles of the rivalry was fought in the mobile space. Google's Android operating system or OS, launched in 2008, quickly became the dominant mobile OS. This dominance was a direct challenge to Microsoft's attempt to break into mobile with Windows Phone. Despite several iterations and strong integration with Microsoft services, Windows Phone never achieved significant market share, leading Microsoft to eventually abandon its mobile OS efforts in 2017. One of the first areas where Google directly challenged Microsoft was email. Microsoft's Hotmail, which it acquired in 1997, was one of the leading web-based email services. However, in 2004, Google launched Gmail, offering a then unheard-of 1 GB of storage space, compared to Hotmail's 2 MB. Gmail's clean interface, powerful search capabilities, and generous storage lured users away from Microsoft's service. By 2012, Gmail surpassed Hotmail. Gmail's success not only diminished Microsoft's dominance in email but also showcased Google's ambition to compete directly in Microsoft's key markets. In early 2000s, Google was challenging Microsoft on multiple fronts. Microsoft's first major retaliation against Google came with the 2005 launch of Bing, its search engine designed to compete with Google's dominance. Despite significant investment in marketing, Bing struggled to catch up. By 2023, Bing held about 7% of the global search engine market, compared to Google's commanding 92%. As both companies expanded, the cloud computing space became a significant battleground. Microsoft Azure and Google Cloud, launched in 2008 and 2010 respectively, were both designed to compete with Amazon Web Services or AWS. However, they also competed with each other as they sought to dominate the enterprise cloud space. According to 2023 data from Synergy Research Group, Azure held 23% of the cloud infrastructure market, while Google Cloud had 10%. Though Google Cloud lags behind, it continues to grow steadily, and the competition between Azure and Google Cloud remains fierce. Their rivalry was not just a fair business rivalry for dominance and gaining market share, but it was ugly enough to have battles in the courtrooms as well. In the late 1990s and early 2000s, Microsoft was entangled in several antitrust lawsuits, primarily centered on its bundling of Internet Explorer with its Windows operating system. Although these lawsuits were largely driven by the US Department of Justice and the European Commission, Google discreetly supporting regulators by providing information and insights into Microsoft's monopolistic practices. As Google grew into a tech giant, Microsoft shifted from being a defendant in antitrust suits to actively encouraging scrutiny of Google's dominance. In 2011, Microsoft, along with companies like Oracle, Expedia, and others, formed the Fair Search Coalition to lobby regulators to investigate Google's practices. They accused Google of anti-competitive behavior, particularly in search and advertising. In the mobile operating system space, instead of directly competing in the mobile OS space, Microsoft turned to litigation. The company claimed that Android infringed on several of its patents, ranging from file storage systems to user interface elements. The more direct clash came when Google acquired Motorola in 2011. However, Microsoft promptly sued Motorola over patent infringement claims. This resulted in years of litigation, with both companies filing claims in the US and Europe. The lawsuit ended in a partial victory for Microsoft, with the courts ruling that Motorola's Android devices had indeed violated Microsoft's patents. In 2008, Microsoft made a bold $44.6 billion bid to acquire Yahoo in an attempt to strengthen its position in the search market and compete directly with Google. At the time, Yahoo had a substantial share of the search market. However, Yahoo rejected the offer. This was a significant missed opportunity for Microsoft, which would have gained valuable search market share and possibly even prevented Google from becoming the behemoth it is today. In 2005, Google poached one of Microsoft's top executives, Kai-Fu Lee, who had been working on Microsoft's research and development efforts in China. This sparked a legal battle between the two companies, as Microsoft accused Google of violating a non-compete agreement and claimed Lee had insider knowledge of Microsoft's strategies for expanding in Asia. In 2013, Google made a surprising move by discontinuing support for Microsoft's Exchange ActiveSync on its Gmail and calendar services. This move severely hurt Microsoft's mobile platform, as many users were accustomed to using Google services, and it led to further struggles for Windows Phone adoption. This behind-the-scenes move demonstrated Google's willingness to disrupt Microsoft's ecosystem through indirect means. Microsoft's strategic partnership with OpenAI, investing over $13 billion, has granted it access to advanced AI models like GPT-4. This integration led to ChatGPT being embedded into Microsoft products such as Azure AI and Office 365, allowing AI-powered features in Word, Excel, and more, boosting productivity. Microsoft also transformed Bing by incorporating ChatGPT, enhancing search capabilities with conversational responses and driving a 10% increase in daily users, reaching over 100 million. Google responded by launching Gemini, its generative AI model meant to rival GPT-4. However, Gemini faced multiple technical issues and underperformed during its early launch stages, especially compared to Microsoft's smooth rollout of AI features. Google is now working to improve Gemini, aiming to integrate multimodal capabilities like text, images, and video, and reclaim its standing in AI. Microsoft's swift success with OpenAI and its deep integration of GPT models across its products has given it a competitive edge in AI. Meanwhile, Google is under pressure but remains a dominant force in AI research. The competition is set to continue as both companies expand AI applications across various industries, such as healthcare and autonomous systems. Google and Microsoft have also competed head-to-head for dominance on revenue as well as market capitalization. While Microsoft had a head start, Google has been able to bridge the gap quickly. Microsoft has grown in terms of revenue from $28 billion in 2002 to $245 billion in 2024. However, Google, being much behind in 2002 with only $400 million, has been able to surpass Microsoft in revenue, with $323 billion in 2023. Microsoft does better in terms of diversification of revenue streams, while Google is heavily dependent on one source of revenue, which is advertisement. In terms of valuation, Microsoft had a huge lead over Google in 2000s. While Microsoft had a valuation of $300 billion in the early 2000s, Google's valuation was only $23 billion at IPO in 2004. Microsoft and Google had a tight war in early to mid-2010s, where Google even beat Microsoft by having higher valuation in 2017. However, the latest dominance of Microsoft in the AI space has made Microsoft the world's largest company with a valuation of $3.2 trillion. Google has faced challenges from increasing competition in the advertising sector and regulatory scrutiny, which have impacted investor sentiment. Despite this, Google is still investing heavily in AI and cloud, with the potential for future growth, and has a valuation of $2 trillion. For more such case studies, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon. Now you know more about the current topic. Please watch the next video to know more on Chinese companies and how China stops competition to nurture homegrown companies.